All right, we're going to move to exercise 10-35 on page 394 of your textbook, and it's a what-if analysis. And this is actually a fairly easy exercise if you read through it. They give you some things that you don't really need in order to prepare this problem. And so if you read through it, they just want you to do prepare an estimate of bad debt expense for each of 3 months, January through March. So we just put our January, February, and March, and we're going to put our sales across there. And the sales is going to be 100,000 in January. February is going to have 120,000. And March, they want a quarter as a whole. And March is going to have 110,000. So we'll put the quarter as a whole here. And so we just add those up and we get 330,000. All right, and they want us to estimate bad debt expense at 1%, 3%, 5%, which is our base case. That's the one that we normally operate under. Just enclose that to show that that's our base case. And then finally at 8%. And so to do that, we simply multiply that out. 1% of 1,000, or 1% of 100,000 is 1,000. 1% of 120,000 is 1,200. 1% of 110 is going to be 1,100. And 1% of 330,000 is 3,300. All right, so to get 3% of that, we just multiply everything by 3. And so that's 3,000. That would be 3,600, 3,300, and 9,900 for the 3%. For the 5%, we would have 5,000, 6,000 there, 5,500 for March, and then 16,500 for the quarter as a whole. Then 8% would be 8,000. 8% times 120,000 would be 9,600, and 8% times 110,000 would be 8,800. Add those two together, 26,400, I believe. 16, 25, 26,400 for the quarter. And so that's our bad debt expense for each of those periods. And it says, what's the advantage of doing this? Well, we can see how much our amount is. And of course, as we experienced here in the Permian Basin recently, one of the signs that problems may be emerging is when people start getting slow on their payments. We call it, so prevalent around here, we call it slow pay, and you're having to write off more bad debts, and that tends to happen a little bit earlier, and it did this time. Nobody was expecting the Saudis and the Russians to get in an oil price war, but we did see that people were getting slower and slower with their payments. Talking to local businesses in the area, and that is an indication that things are not trending well, and that you might have to make provisions for things being tougher. So just something to think about in the future. All right, that ends number 35, and we'll go on to another one.